So this is Nicola, and I'm going to be measuring her. And first of all, Nicola, how tall are you?
I'm 5'9",
And do you know your weight?
160.
And what size are you generally?
Between a 6 and an 8.
Okay, and if you were like to buy a SML,
A medium.
you'd be a medium. Okay, great, perfect. All right, so I'm going to measure your bust, and I'll be measuring over the highest point of the bust. Yeah. So when I measure the bust, I try to bring the measuring. Could you mind turning to the side, Judy? I try to bring the measuring tape to the side, and then just make sure it's over the high point. And she's 35 and a half. So when measuring fit models, generally, they're going to be in their panties and a bra. But of course, this is Nicola, and you guys are doing this at home, and I don't expect that. But just so that you know, professional fit models are very comfortable with that. So I've asked Nicola if I could measure her waist. And so go ahead and, if you don't mind, lifting up your shirt. Yeah, and just put your hands, rest your hands, if you don't mind, on your waist. Just like that. Perfect. So that gives me an idea of where your waist is. So I'll go ahead and measure. So she measures 29 and a half. And her hips. Do you mind turning to the side? So here again, we're going to go over the fullest point. And we have 41 and a quarter. And her head measurement, yeah, is about 23. And so the neck is an interesting measurement because on the dress form, of course, we have a seam. We don't have it on the human body. So I'm just going to go around here, kind of at the smallest point, but towards the base. And her neck is 15 and 5/8. Wait, I think I might have been over your hair. Let me just remeasure that. Oh yeah, way wrong. Okay, so her neck is actually 14. And the under the bust measurement is basically the rib cage. So I'll just go under the bust, and we have 30 and a half. And then, of course, my least favorite measurement, the thigh. So Nicola is 24 and a quarter. And the bicep. So make sure when you're measuring a guy that they don't flex here, because they tend to want to do that, right? We're just going to go over this biggest part of the arm here, and she's 12 and 3/8. And the calf muscle. It's 15. And the ankle. Let's see, 9 3/4. And I'm going to measure your wrist. So Nicola is 7 and an 8. And I'm going to measure the shoulder, which the shoulder width, which I think is a little bit subjective, but I kind of like to think about in terms of the dress form, which we're kind of familiar with looking at. So where the arm starts to fall away from the shoulder. So I would say Nicola's shoulder width is about 14 and a half. 14 and a half. And then, Nicola, can you just slightly bend your arm for me? So then I'm going to measure this, her sleeve length on the slightly bent arm. And I'm starting at that shoulder point. Okay, you could hold that for me. That was so great. Okay, and then So for women, we tend to like to wear our shirts to this bone, or even, well, actually no, to this point on the thumb. Yes, kind of this mid thumb joint area. So we tend to like our blouses and our tops a little bit on the long side. Is that true of you? Would you say,
Yeah,
Nicola?
definitely.
Yeah. Whereas if you're measuring a guy's sleeve length, it's going to be more at the true wrist. Okay, the center back sleeve length should be the half of the shoulder width and the sleeve length joined together. So those measurements should jive. And if you don't want to, again, I'm going to turn you around. So we have a bone right in here that's, tell me when I'm on it,
Mm-hmm.
like kind of right in here. It's at the tip of the skeleton. So you want to measure, yeah, we'll just measure from here. Measure from there. And again, you're going to do this slight bent arm to that same point. So I would say that she's about 32 and a half. 32 and a half. And, okay, and then we're going to do the high point shoulder to the waist. So go ahead and turn around. I'm just treating you like you're a dress form here. All right, so we know this high point shoulder point, and we're going to go again to the waist. So would you mind just putting your hands at your waist? Yeah, perfect. So high point shoulder to waist, I would say is about 16. And then we're going to go the waist. Would you put your hands back on your, oh, would you mind taking your shoes off? So here we're going to measure from the waist to the floor. Yeah, you can go ahead and hold it for me. Thank you, Susie. Perfect. All right, so now we have 44 and a half. And then we're going to go high point shoulder all the way to the waist. Yep, there we go. All the way down to the floor, which is, I have 59 and I'd say a quarter, or 59 and a half. I'll just say 59 and a half. And then, of course, the high point shoulder to the waist, high point shoulder to the, from waist to floor should add up to the high point shoulder to the floor.